All right, let's do this. Testing, testing, one, two, three. So there are ways to keep the memory of a loved one who has passed alive for ourselves and especially for our children. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So this is not like a grief dump situation. This is really sharing what I have been doing, what I'm learning, what I'm continuing to do to keep the memory of my mother alive for myself, but for my children especially. And of course, I do want to give some context as to why that in particular was so important for me. So recently, I asked my very talented brother to do an illustration for me. And what I asked him to do was to illustrate my mother with my children as they are today, the ages they are right now, what they look like right now. See, my mother passed in June, late June of 2021. And it was a long journey. It felt like a long journey, right? I know long is relative. Felt long for me. So much so that grief was happening in the midst of what was happening to her and what we were witnessing. But I'll say that for me, time has allowed me to navigate and reconcile grief with gratitude. What I mean by that is I have been able to say, okay, in the time that I've had with my mom, I'm grateful for that time because she has seen me through so much, not just in my childhood, right? She's seen me in my childhood, obviously, for sure, yeah. Even though that's not guaranteed. So even in that is a privilege that she has been able to see me grow and blossom. And as a mom who is now watching my children grow into their personalities and their interests and blossom, that is no small thing. That is a beautiful journey to go on, and I got to go on it with her, even though I was a child, wasn't exactly doing childlike things, so I know it's challenging for her, just like it's for me as a mom. So I got to have that experience with her, and then I also got to transition into young adulthood with her and graduate from high school and go through that process and go to college and graduate from college. And she got to see me kind of a young 20 something figuring it out. And she got to help me pick up the pieces when I felt like I would graduate from college at like 22. I'm never going to find a career and I'm never going to find a man. Ridiculous in hindsight, because I literally met my husband the next year after I graduated from college. But anywho, um, I, she got to see me find this man, introduce this man to her. I got to see this, flow. She got to see me make a decision about wanting to work for myself and transitioning from teaching on the college level, being an English instructor, to transitioning into my own thing and coming to my own in a way. Countless times she had said that she was proud of me. And while I was proud of myself, who doesn't want to hear that, from a parent? I appreciated that immensely. I appreciated that she was able to watch me fall in love, that she was there to see me get married, that she was there literally the month before I gave birth and in the room when I gave birth to my first child. And when in the 3 months that she lived with us for 3 months, that she was there when said child and her parents had just a financial crash with layoffs and all the things that were happening with a new baby, and she gave us a place to live, and that had its own challenges, but I appreciate that time that I had with her when we moved to North Carolina for a couple of years. And I think about all of these moments that I got to experience with her. There is a sense for me, because it is still hard in 2026. I still miss her. I still cry. I still get triggered. And yet, I am also grateful for the time that I had with her. Again, time at this point has allowed me, yes, those moments, but to reconcile my grief with a sense of gratitude. And I really want to say but y'all know, if you've been rocking me for a while, I'm a both and girl. I live in the gray, and I understand that things are very nuanced. And in addition to that, I feel immense pain and sadness for my children. Now I know that there's privilege, because it I know that there are some people who lose their mom at a young age. So the fact that I had my mom for as long as I did is a blessing and a privilege. I know personally people who have passed in childbirth, and so their children have never experienced them on this plane, have never met them in that way. Perhaps have experienced them on another before they got here, depending on your beliefs, but have not experienced that. And I also know that my mom got to be a grandmother, something she truly wanted to be, something that she was amazing at, for 5 years with my daughter before she passed. And she had kept my daughter, and she would be on video chats with her, and she came to visit for 2 weeks at a time, like once a quarter. She was very present, and she was around. And mm, I kind of talked this through in my head, and I was like, I'm gonna be fine. But ultimately, she was such an amazing grandmother. But my daughter is 10 now, and I have to keep those memories alive for her. So I would say that one thing that I have not been able to reconcile, something that I don't know, because in this present moment I can't see it happening, is the fact that my children will not be able to experience her and experience as much of her on this plane in real time as I would have truly wanted them to do, and to have her in that way. And all she wanted to do was to be a grandmother. She was doing Zumba class, independent, super active, eating, pretty cleanly. And she would always say it was because she wanted to be here with her grandchildren, or with her grandchild at that time, because she's never met Zen, you know? And so I have not reconciled that. I still That still bugs me in a major way, and there's nothing I could do about it. It's nothing. I can't control that. However, I have done very specific things, and perhaps more things will even come to me to keep that memory alive for them, and to introduce my son to his yaya, is what she wanted to be called, and what Sovereign calls her. And that has helped. That has helped. So one thing that we do that is very prominent throughout our daily life is we talk about her. I, I'm almost as if she's here, what she liked, what she did, what we enjoyed about her, how, what she would have liked if she was here. Her name is in our mouths and in our household with our children. My kids know the name. They know who that person is to her. It is who she is to them. Even Zen can point her out in a picture. So we talk about her. And sometimes we have moments of sadness together. Sovereign will still get a little sad from what she can remember. My husband and I have moments of sadness, and we don't hide that from the children, that we miss her. We miss her presence. That is a day-to-day thing. And then going back to the recognition, especially for my son, but also for my daughter. My son's never met her. And so pictures, we have pictures of my mom all around. We did at our house in Atlanta as well. And we tell Zen who that is. This is Yaya. You have your grandmother, because that's his my husband's mom, my mother-in-law, and you have Yaya, who's my mom. And he can point her out in the picture and say it's Yaya and say that that's my mommy, right? To me, like, oh, that's your mommy. And the pictures are really helpful. They're ancestors that I never met, and I know who they are because growing up, I heard their name from my mom, from my sister, from my grandmother, because I've seen pictures of them, and because I've heard stories of them, which brings me to telling the stories, right? And so talking about them, their likes, their dislikes, what they would have liked, what they enjoyed, what they would have enjoyed if we're here, having moments where we miss them in front of the children, photographs around so that they can see visually who this person is and not just an idea, but like something that's a photograph is tangible. Having that tangible, and then telling stories. And twice a year we have two things that we do where stories are really prominent, where my mom comes up. And one is her birthday. When she passed, Sovereign was still 5, and it was her idea to celebrate Yaya's birthday. And so every year on November 5th, we celebrate my mom's birthday. We get balloons, we'll decorate the house, we'll get some balloons. Usually we get a sweet treat. We'll gather around, we'll talk, we'll tell stories about her, and then we'll also we'll share a story or a wish, or really a story. It's not really a wish. We'll share a story or a statement about her, and we usually release the balloons. That has become our little birthday tradition around my mom's birthday. And so that tradition, having that as a tradition, I feel makes a huge difference. Okay. And then the second annual time is Kwanzaa. When we celebrate Kwanzaa, we're talking a lot about our ancestors, not just my mom, but we're talking about the ancestors on my side of the family, on daddy, but my kid's daddy, on my husband's side of the family. And we're sharing lots of pictures, and we're sharing stories, and we're sharing observations, like, oh, so and so was really crafty and great with their hands too, kind of like you, or so and so, really enjoyed building things kind of like you. And my dad, being, if this was also talking, was, my grandfather was like a master builder and carpenter, and you really love building things, you're good with your hands. So we bring all of that stuff full circle around our Kwanzaa celebration, which that means we have two annual traditions that, even as they get older and older into adulthood, traditions can hold fast. They may shift and change, but they can hold, they can anchor you, they can hold space, they can be foundational. So we have those two times in the year where we do that. And all of this combined has truly allowed me to feel as if the memory of my mom and that seed is being planted with my children and with me. I have so much to pull on and so much to remember, so many years of my life that I can pull on. And I'm grown. And so the memories are sticking with me. But for a son who's never met her, and for a daughter who lost her fairly young, it was immensely important for me to keep that memory alive. A project that I'm working on now, another tangible, is not just my mom, but to have a photo book of their ancestors with some information on who they were and what they were into, because I don't remember everything. And my sister's here, and she is the oldest now, and her, with her and my her memories and my memories combined, I'm hoping we can really create something for the children that's a tangible, that gives them a sense of where they come from and who they are. But for my mom specifically, those are the things that we do, and that it has helped me move through and navigate the sadness I feel that she is not here to be grandma, to be yaya to them in this season. And it's really helped me. It's really helped me. So I don't know if you're in a similar boat, perhaps these things can help you as well. I hope that it was helpful. I know none of it is easy or comfortable. And if there's something that you do that helps to keep your family member alive for yourself, and if you have children for your children, please share that down below. Because it might be something that we can adopt, something we hadn't thought about, something that someone else will come across that will really need, they really need as well. So if you feel comfortable and so inclined, please share in the comments below. I hope this video was helpful, um, for anyone who needed this today. Thank you so much for your ear, for listening, having this conversation with me. If you like this video, you can go ahead and like this video. Conversations like these on how we can have deeper, more meaningful, and more feel good relationship with self and really with our partners. I talk about that a lot in addition to others in our lives, and lessons and insights that I'm learning from a really big transition that my family is in right now around moving abroad. If that kind of conversation and that whole thing is your vibe, then please subscribe, and I'd love to continue having these conversations with you. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.